I couldn't stop this. It's it's a good. That was a good tune, by the way. Today, some overclouded the day, and I was waking up a little bit early. I couldn't sleep, but you see, here the other day I talked with a dear friend of mine, and we came to the conclusion, and I was also talking with the doctor that I came to know, understand that the doctor said you need at least 8 hours sleep because it was some inflammation, and that was paining a lot, and due to stress and so much more. This friend of mine was to undergo some food regime that you couldn't eat or drink, for example, coffee. It's not good. So I kind of understand that we need to have some time out, some maybe isolation. Sometimes we need to keep people out of our life. I have felt that many times that it's too much. It's too much. You keep only the loved ones close. All the rest can go to hell. So when that is needed, you need to fight for that kind of space that you need. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer messages. Don't expose yourself on social media. Don't go there. It will be known. It will be known because people are after gossip. Gossip, and people are talking. And when you know that people are talking badly of you, that's when you should just... Because I have this experience as an activist. And many people may feel familiar to that. That when you are in the middle of a fight that maybe you can't even avoid, you can't even answer to yourself that why should I be doing this? Why should I have to do this kind of job? As an activist, as a messenger, as a profession, you do certain jobs that you don't even like yourself. You feel that you are exposing yourself in a so bad way that people may not understand. So they turn on you. I have experienced that when people doesn't really comprehend my point. I was in the beginning warned that Ole, if you do this, since you are doing this, people are talking about you. Who was talking? Exactly them. They tried to warn me about themselves. As I gathered now, they were trying to be nice, say it in a nice way, and tried to trick me into believe that they were right. I was wrong. But you see, people are exposing themselves. If you go on a hunting strip on personal agendas, you will fall. That will be the end of you. But if you are Like I was talking about yesterday about activism, and you do what you do in order to get it achieved. You have to fight for it, and it should never be a personal vendetta. Personal vendetta is for God to take care of. It's up to Him to take care of those people. If you can survive by yourself and your personal life, it's good for you. But don't fight back personal agendas. I learned that in a way that sometimes I got some feedback from the leader at the center I was attending. You see, Ole, this and that person, a feeling you are doing this and that, and many more accusation. Even I was called out because one of the workers there, she was she was a socionom. What do you call it in English? Socionom. She had this PhD. Sorry to say that. Social worker, but it's a social worker. It is social worker, but it is also a guidance in the juridical rights you have as an individual, as a patient, as a client. That is, and she heard from a client, I was together with him, many other people, that I was calling him and the silent people stupid. I couldn't fathom how in this world I would be able to even say that as a joke. No, he got it wrong. I couldn't say such a stupid thing. Even to say that is stupid. So I knew this case is easy peasy. But this social worker, Kjersti was her name, and that is to be shamed all over, all over the world. Kjersti, she joined. In fact, she thought that was so gross of me, even before she heard my case. That is the right opinion, how perfect this social worker was to really empathize with this client. He was not a client, he was just a frequent user on that center. Not a client per se, I don't know. I didn't know him that much. But he obviously heard me say that silent people are stupid. I have known many people that are silent. And they are far from stupid. They are maybe the most brilliant, intelligent people made just to make us exposed people just wonder about what. And my daughter said something yesterday that silent man. He never talked much, and not only does he talk really, he is so loud. He's merely whispering. And what he have to say is so brilliant. So I can come up with so many examples on people that are whispers and rarely talk. They are far from stupid. They are maybe the most intelligent people. We should learn more from that. And that's my friend is like that, and he have this very objective ability. So Kjersti, joined him and said to me that he told me that. So I said, I need a meeting with him. Is that possible? Yes. He wanted that too, and we came to a meeting, and she continued attacking me for saying something that I couldn't admit. And since it was so gross, he had a hard time facing me, and I understand that. But even though I said that, I couldn't imagine that I have said it. I have to be honest, I can't remember saying that, and that is far from what my opinion about silence is. So I said, if you heard it, I ask you for forgiveness. I will ask you for forgiveness. If you heard it from me, it should never have been said, and I will ask you. And I shook his hand. And this Kjersti she was provoked that she couldn't leave it. She couldn't leave it at all. So I said, I want a meeting with you afterwards. So I got that meeting. The leader, Ruth Solveig Thorsen, she gave me 15 minutes to that meeting. And I said, and my friend, the silent and whisper friend, not a client, he was attending this because I needed some clear mind. I said that, how in this world can you attend or ally with a client without hearing both sides, just to get something straight? And Ruth Solveig didn't have anything to say to criticize her employee. So that was that story. So you see, I saw that very clearly. I don't know where I got it from. Maybe the Bible, because you see, with Saul and David, it became a fight. Saul became a king before David, and he became jealous of David because he won far greater than himself. And people praised David, not him. So he became jealous. And David didn't attack Saul personally. Even he was praised by, he could have been like everybody else to join the big party. This thorn, this needle in David's flesh, that Saul was so against him that he tried to kill him by several occasions. And David didn't fight back. He didn't fight back. He could, in one occasion, in his tent, have killed him, but he never did that. He left something there, but or took something, some flick of a garment, and I think God didn't like that. I don't know. I have to. But you see, the fight is not about flesh and blood. It's about entities. When people refer to that scripture, Let me see. It's written it's translated, for we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against powers, against authorities, against the rulers of the world in this darkness, against the spirit army of evil in the heavenly space. I don't think people get it right. They have a hard time getting it right because it's referred mainly to authorities, rulers of the world in this darkness. You see, I can fight the system. It's what is given to me. But I don't want to fight personal things. Even if people do me wrong, backstab me or say something bad, wrong, or even try to kill. Don't fight back. Don't fight back. It's not your fight. You will know that the first place you do it, it shouldn't be your fight. Maybe even if your friends do something, friends, family do you something wrong, just leave them be. Let Hashem take care of that. Not even talk about it. Not go into details about it. Just let the God Almighty take care of them. Live your life. Fight your fights. Don't fight personal fights. So every time I got these feedbacks from people that felt I did this and that, I went to them straight and said, if you have experienced that from me, I ask for forgiveness. It shouldn't be done and shouldn't be like that. So I have to ask you for your forgiveness. So that is my approach to some kind of personal fights that people pick on me. I just go to them, not with a gun, but with an open hand. That is the difference. And it will pay. It will pay. You have to be this kind of patience. You need to have patience. It's much needed today, patience. When you have patience, you don't need payback. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against powers. Don't think so much about spiritual entities in the heavenly space. People are mistaking this word for something entirely, but the underline here is the spirit army of every evil in the heavenly space. That I can agree on, but the fight is against powers, against authorities, against the rulers of the world. That is our fight. We should not fight personal vendettas. It is not. It is what backwards leaders do. They think that the more they kill, the more they can get rid of other people. It's benefiting them. But you see, in the end, you will fall. That is the end of that. Jesus also said something that if you rise sword, it will be reason's word against you. So war against war. If you wage war, you will get war. If you wage peace, you will get peace. So, my friends, peace is the answer. If you have peace within, you don't need to fight that kind of fights. Your fight is more profound than blood, flesh and blood. It's a spiritual nature that you have been introduced to. If you have the right intentions, you know what to do. If you have no right, if you mistake the intentions to be something entirely different, then you will fall. You will be the ruler that is corrupting everything. So my friends, I have been through this many times. And it is something that when you are in your fight, you get people along the way that is trying to make some stumbling blocks. Stikke pinner I hjula is something we say in Norway, that we put let me Google it. It can be interesting. Sticking sticks in the wheels. It's when we do that. You see, if you see a bicycle, it's more to the order of it, because the wheel on a car, you wouldn't be able to put sticks in that. But if you put sticks in a bike wheel, the bike will stop immediately. And that's some people's doing, because they can't mind their own life. They can't administrate their own life. They are poor, backward people that try to stab people like you, like me, in our back. They always say something nice, like I was so-called warned. Don't do this, Ole. Don't go and fight the leadership in the church. Don't do this kind of, because what people think of you. That is kind of, I was maybe in that time I was in need of being portrayed as something nice, something hey, Ole is. I did it with good intentions. I have all these good intentions, and I had these biblical measurements to why I did what I did. And I thought, and I believe, that the Spirit was driving me crazy. For sure, it was driving me crazy. And I couldn't stop. My father said something back then that captured my attention. He said that if you see something is right, and if you see something is wrong, you are obligated to say. And he brought that from the Bible. If you see that something wrong is happening, you are obligated, because you see it, because you understand why it's wrong. You are obligated to warn. You are obligated to say it. So that was my motor, my engine that instigated my activism, this kind of justice. And I said also yesterday that life is how we deal with the unjust. So, you see, the unjust, the wrong, what we need to correct, like the Kabbalists say, we need to correct, we need to heal the world. And we don't go on personal vendetta. It can be a personal agenda to get us many as possible to turn and do the right thing, to do good. That is good intention. But someone need to put a warning finger to the leaders, to the powers, to the entities out there. Against the rulers, against the darkness. Because this kind of evil, which is also written, spirit army of evil. You see, what inspires us is to do evil. And we have to be a light, we have to be salt in order to say, this is not right. We have to be clear about that. And I have my segment of fight, and I approve of your segment of a fight. Sometimes we have to do wrong in order to do right. And I don't go into that, but then that is also an aspect of things that sometimes you need to do, like the prophet went into harlot, a prostitute, and married her. He has to give a sign. He has to prove a point. Who would do that, to go into a prostitute and marry that prostitute? Everybody feels filthy when they are talking about the prostitutes. So the prophet, and it's clear. So you can't judge an activist. You can't really judge when the activist is just leaving people flesh and blood away. It's not his fight. It's not his aim. His aim is the government, the powers, the entities in this world that we are going to fight. So that is inspirational to the people. Moses said something. How would I do such a sin? How would I be able to do such a sin, not to pray for my enemies? So every day, every night before I go to bed, I pray for you. I pray for the enemies. I pray for the sick. I pray for my friends. Everybody, I pray for them. Because I need, if I see you as an enemy, flesh and blood enemy, I have to correct myself. I have to ask for forgiveness. That is my drive. That is my task. That I don't mind you do me wrong, as long as I'm humble enough to ask you for forgiveness. So my friend, be a blessing. Be a beacon of a blessing to this world. Don't mind all the unjust done to you. Mind the unjust by the government, by the powers of this darkened world. Bring some light, bring some salt into it, and be that beacon